Okay, so let's have a small discussion about vascular access. So to have a vascular access, we have three ways. Okay, one is a peripheral venous access. Okay, which is by our IV cannulas which we perform for the ward patients, and that is the primary venous access. Okay, and the other form is your central venous access, which includes this central line which you see here. This kit which includes a central line insertion, which includes introducer sheaths, and which also includes specialty central catheters, which we'll discuss later. And the other which is there, which we do not have here, is your peripherally inserted central catheters, which is also known as PICC line. Okay, so let's see the basic difference. Okay, so the concept is, if you see the diameter of this needle, which is almost 20 to 20 gauge. Okay, so it is a 20 gauge needle, which is the diameter of the needle. Okay, and the plastic cannula inside it, and the length of the plastic cannula is assume something which is there. So based on the Hagen and Poiseuille equation, the flow which we are trying to give is based on the radius of the catheter and the length of the catheter. It is directly proportional to the power of 4 of the radius of the catheter and inversely proportional to the length. So more the gauge, like less the gauge and more the diameter of the needle, more the flow. Less the length, more the flow. Okay. So now let's see why we use different types of catheters. Okay. So the venous access, which is peripheral venous access, is used when you have to give a short-term medication to. You have to maintain a short-term venous access. Okay. Maintaining a short-term venous access is like of 7 days, 6 days, 5 days, where the patient is admitted in ward for basic medical illnesses. You have to give basic drugs, or you have to give crystalloids, okay, to maintain the fluid status of the patient at a shorter time, for a shorter time. And the point is, when you give a lot of drugs for a longer time, there is chances of phlebitis with the peripheral venous catheter, and there are chances of thrombosis, and then we lose the venous access. Okay, and conditions where you have to give a lot of fluid, okay, you have to give a lot of fluid, you have to give major drugs, like especially the inotropes, which are vasoconstrictors like norad-dopa, and total parenteral nutrition. So when you have to either have a large amount of fluids, you have to give anotropic support for like norad-dopa and total parenteral nutrition. We usually prefer central venous access. Okay, and these are multi-port, so you can give different types of fluids and different type of infusions in these catheters. Okay, and that is the reason for severe patients and in patients with ICU, we procure or we already make a central venous catheter for a better management in the ICU. Okay, so let's discuss the three types of your central venous catheters. So one is the central line. Central line, as in we make a venous access in the central veins, which are the internal jugular vein, subclavian vein, and the femoral vein. Okay, and apart from this, the second part which is there, these are introducer sheaths. So introducer sheaths which are there, they make a venous access for putting a sheath, or for putting devices like for doing transvenous pacing in patient with complete heart block or blocks. That is the use. So you make an access by IGV. You reach till the right atrium, and you put an electronic device which maintains the heart, the conduction and the conduction of the heart. Okay. The third type are the specialty types. Specialty types, one of which is very famous, is your HD catheter. Okay, HD catheter or the Joe line. So we'll discuss the difference of it with the central line. Okay. So what you see is the central line kit here. Okay. In the central line kit, you have your needle. Okay. This is the syringe, and you will have a dilator for your central vein. Will dilate it before inserting the your central catheter. Okay, and you'll have 3 ports here. Okay, and for these 3 ports you have one 16 gauge and two 18 gauge. Okay, and then you'll have few attachers after you like to make stitches of to the skin and attach it to the skin. Okay, and okay, so we'll discuss in short about how do we do a central line insertion. Okay, you'll have a patient on supine position. We'll tilt your head below the bed in 15 degrees. which will cause more of venous congestion in the neck area. This will also cause and more dilatation of the, or the increase in the diameter of the IGV. Preferred IGV is right IGV because it is a more straight line and connected to the right atrium continuously. Okay. So after that, the technique which is used is a Seldinger's technique. So what we do here is you thread the catheter over your guide wire in that technique. Okay, so what we do is after we okay, so once we have connected the needle with the syringe with some amount of NS in it, so the first part is you'll have the IGV below your sternocleidomastoid. You'll ask the patient to turn to the opposite side, that is the left side. You will palpate the carotid artery and push it medially. Okay, and you will have your IGV anteriorly and lateral to the carotid. Okay, below the sternocleidomastoid. So once you get that is the between the two heads of the, like for example, these are the two heads of the sternocleidomastoid, or the clavicle and your sternal head. In this apex, you will have you'll pierce it, and piercing on the apex, okay, and that should be directed towards the ipsilateral nipple, okay, and you'll go there, and you will usually encounter the IGV, okay. Giving a back pressure, you go inside, and once you get the blood into the syringe, you know that you are in the lumen of the IGV, okay, and you will not insert more than 5 centimeter inside, which will cause chances of what do you call it as complications, and it is a superficial vein, so you are not in the proper position or the proper location, so you should withdraw the needle, okay, and try more medially to the position which you have tried, okay. So after when you have pierced the IGV with the needle, okay, what you do is you put the guide wire. Okay, you put the guide wire by the other part, okay, the second port, and you put it all through, and after that you remove the needle, and after that you put your dilator and dilate the IGV. After that you will put a catheter, and you will slowly put the catheter in and see where the guide wire comes off. When the guide wire comes on the tip of this, you will slowly insert the catheter inside and pull out the guide wire. Okay, and after that you will do a basic stitches to the for the central venous catheter. Now this what I have described is the landmark technique or the blind technique. Okay, and more preferred in the ICUs and the private setups are the ultrasound guided, where you will have the ultrasound. You will see the direction of the needle, you will see the position of the needle, and you will see the larger vessel, which is the IGV, in comparison to the carotid artery. Okay, and that is followed by less complications, okay, and more better precision. Okay, so this is for the central line insertion. For the Joe line, which is the HD catheter, the point is you will have two catheters, usually two lumens, and they are 12 gauge. They are more larger diameter, because you have to acquire that amount of blood in it, like 200 to 300 ml of blood per minute is to be acquired in that process of hemodialysis. So we need a larger diameter cannulas. Okay. After that, the point is this was the technique for IGV. The other two techniques are subclavian art for subclavian vein and femoral vein. Femoral vein is least preferred due to more chances of infections. Okay, but is the easier type. Okay, and subclavian vein central catheter. So subclavian vein catheterization is also a better option, but the chances of pneumothorax are more in it. Okay.